Ugh, look at all the dust in here. How long has it been since we've done a review? Hope I can remember how the formatting works. Anyway, I'm Conor from the Rupee Crew, and this is the Rupee review of New Tales from the Borderlands. Now, if you are unaware, the original Tales from the Borderlands was a fantastic game licensed and developed by the now late defunct Telltale Games, with assistance from Borderlands developer Gearbox. It's probably one of Telltale's greatest episodic games, which all focused heavily on narrative and player choices. New Tales from the Borderlands is a Gearbox-developed title, much in the style of the original Telltale games, and is a spiritual sequel to the original Tales from the Borderlands. Supposedly, Gearbox nabbed a few key people from Telltale following the company's untimely demise for the purpose of working on this and other aspects of the ever-growing world of Borderlands. Whereas the original Tales focused on Fiona and Reese, now a mainstay in the Borderlands series, New Tales follows scientist Anu, streetwise Octavio, and Frogurt enthusiast with a temper Fran. Much like the original, players are given dialogue choices that impact and influence the relationships between the protagonists and potentially the overall outcome of the game, with a sprinkling of QuickTime events and mini-games. But how is the new Tales from the Borderlands, and how does it compare to its predecessor? Well, let's get cracking with some good and bad. How do I... here we are. The good. Improved writing from Borderlands 3. While everything good in Borderlands will ultimately get compared to their magnum opus Borderlands 2, everything bad will get compared to Borderlands 3. The third installment of the main series was... not good. Largely flat playable characters, annoying and terrible supporting characters, and lackluster writing, Borderlands 3 really stands out from the pack and has placed a large question mark over the future of the series. But things have improved in my opinion with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which managed to hit those old Borderlands notes while still being fresh and new. New Tales from the Borderlands is thankfully also an improvement. The writing is certainly not perfect, and more than a few jokes don't land. But I would say the majority of the humor and the jokes do. It does take some time, but by game's end, you also do develop some emotional connections to your three protagonists, despite them having some annoying flaws and quirks that are perhaps played up too much, such as Fran's consistent horniness. But at no point does the humor miss as much as it does in Borderlands 3, and at no point does it feel your teeth are being pulled out like it does when you have to listen to Typhoon De Leon. For me, this feels like a continuation of the writing getting back on track. Next point on the good, more fresh ideas. The best thing about Tales from the Borderlands was that it wasn't focused on a vault hunter. It gave a snapshot of life for the other people of this world, trading in the loot and shoot mechanics of the main game to focus on more narrative. New Tales understands this and does a great job of showcasing it. Octavio and Fran both showcase the intricacies of life on Promethea for, quote, ordinary people. The game also has numerous fun minigames that break up the gameplay as well. Between Octavio's hacking minigames, to rounds of Vaultlanders, to more surprises I don't want to spoil, there are some really fun things that shake up the gameplay. Despite how easy it is mechanically, I find myself really excited for rounds of Vaultlanders, a minigame where you use tiny figurines of the series' more famous Vault Hunters and villains in a somewhat childish beat-em-up game. This has the adult characters of the game playing with tiny figures, and it's so hilarious. I just do wish it was a little bit more involved, because I could win every round without taking any damage. Maybe the ease of it is part of the point and part of the humor, but I loved it so much I wish there was more to it. I just pray for the sake of my wallet that Gearbox doesn't make this real. As someone who inexplicably still owns all of the Battleborn figures, yes, Battleborn, I would be in serious financial trouble if Vaultlanders were real. All up front. Like its predecessor, New Tales is separated into episodes, but they are presented all together day one, which is honestly an improvement over the long development time between episodes that was needed for other Telltale games. While the wait gave you something to look forward to and be excited for, ultimately too much time went past between episodes and you struggled to remember what happened. Offering the whole story at once was an improvement made possible by being developed and published by more established companies, as sad as that is. Pour one out for Telltale. It's not all rainbows and blood showers, though. Let's take a look at the bed. Oh shit. I broke it. John's not gonna like seeing that on the expense report. Anyway, the music. One of the most iconic things about Borderlands is probably its choice for intro music, especially in the original Tales from the Borderlands. Songs from Cage the Elephant, Jungle, Sean Lee's Ping Pong Orchestra, Twin Shadows, just real bangers that immediately set the tone. I'm a fan of the band Jungle now because of the song Busy Earnin', which opens up Tales. Now, no offense to any of the artists featured in New Tales, but the music sucks. They try to do the same thing where they set the tone of an episode with an opening song and video, and every time the song is weird, bad, and forgetful. What a tremendous disappointment it was to walk away from this game and not have any interest in looking up the songs or the artists. What on earth happened? Next up, the illusion of choice. If somehow you are still unaware, the shtick of the former Telltale games was to provide players with a variety of choices that ultimately had large impacts on the story. They were very much a choose-your-own-adventure style book. That was the point. The dialogue choices in New Tales doesn't capture that as well. The dialogue options seem more geared to influencing the relationship status between the three protagonists, which affects your team's score and your skateboard rating. Yes, really, skateboard rating. And much less on the outcome of the overall story. While there are multiple endings, you have little control of where the narrative heads, and you make choices based on what will improve your skateboard score to get the connected trophy. It's kind of an illusion of choice, which is kind of a disappointing way to remember Telltale. Less heights. There is no way not to compare New Tales from its predecessor, and the game simply doesn't live up to the heights of the original. The characters are not as likable, there isn't as many twists and turns narratively, the stakes don't ever feel as big, and while there are some nice poignant moments, especially between Octavio and Anu, they fail to reach the heights of the original Tales, which is sad considering Telltale was playing in Gearbox's world and doing a better job of it. And it still kind of hurts how subsequent entries have kind of brought Reese down in quality for me. The original Tales from the Borderlands was really a narrative masterpiece, and it's a real credit to the talent that was at Telltale. So what do we think of New Tales from the Borderlands? We give it a 7 out of 10 skateboards. Enjoyable, funny, continued improvement from the missteps of Borderlands 3, but ultimately fails to reach the heights of the original Telltale game it tries to invoke. Please don't make Vaultlanders a thing, Randy. Please. We hope you enjoyed that video. Click the links on screen for more Rupee Crew shenanigans. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like, and stay tuned for more content.